Good morning, all participants. Welcome to the webinar. We'll wait for a few participants to join and we'll start shortly. Welcome all and stay tuned. Thank you. So here we are. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to each of you joining us today, Landmark Day. Today is particularly special as envisioned in the National Strategy for Financial Education. We are concluding our Financial Literacy Week by celebrating Digital Financial Service Day. This day is dedicated to bringing financial awareness to the masses, ensuring that India moves fast towards cashless future. No one is left behind. Our theme for the week has been KYC, your first step to many safeguards, and today we focus specially on the bridge between your identity and integrity of our digital financial system. When we talk about digital finance in India, one name stands as a global beacon of innovation: UPI, Unified Payment Interface. Managed by the NPCI, UPI has truly revolutionized our lives. It is more than just a payment method, it is a global phenomenon that has turned India into a world leader in real time digital transactions. From the smallest street vendor to the largest retail chain, UPI has democratized money. It is fast, it is secure, and it is uniquely Indian. Today, as we celebrate DFSD, we salute the greatness of UPI for making financial inclusion a reality for over a billion people. However, with a great innovation comes the responsibility of security. To ensure that our digital journey remains safe, we must understand the mechanism of fraud, prevention, and the role of KYC. To guide us through today's sub-theme from identity integrity, KYC in digital finance, we are honored to have experts from very heart of Indian digital payment revolution. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ankush Srivastava. He is lead of fraud lead for fraud risk management at NPCI. With his deep expertise in safeguarding digital ecosystem, he is here to help us navigate the world of secure digital finance. So, welcome, sir. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tusharji, and a very warm welcome to all the participants. It is my privilege to present some insights on the topic which has been given. Again, it is a very, very important topic, as just been mentioned. Uh, what I'm going to do is in the next 1 hour, I'm going to take you through various aspects of the frauds which are pertinent, which are prevalent in the ecosystem. What is that we are observing sitting at the central level, at the node level? What are the interactions that we are doing with the banks, and in a way to the end users through them, the support that we provide to the ecosystem to make it more secure and more viable for the general public to use the digital public infrastructure. Uh, Starting from UPI, RuPay, IMPS, APS, etc. I will also delve into certain aspects of the the steps that we are taking in and rather advanced steps that we are taking to safeguard the ecosystem in a big way. And then certainly at the end of the session, we can go for Q&A session where I'll be taking some 4 or 5 questions, uh, and depending upon the curiosity of the floor. Okay. So let me quickly present these slides. There are a couple of them over a period of 1 hour. That is what we are going to discuss. Okay. So now the topic which is given is itself a very, very crucial itself. It's a very, very important topic because, you know, traditionally what we understand banking and finance, we have traveled a long journey and guided by the regulator, the Reserve Bank of India and various other regulators, be it SEBI, be it RBI. We have traveled a long distance in ensuring that we take a leap forward in the digital financial transaction journey, right? Now, what we are looking at is we will be looking at it from a couple of perspectives. One is the KYC, know your customer, right? And I'm sure almost all of you who are present in the session are by and large aware of, the importance of know your customer, yeah, KYC in the banking fraternity, in the finance fraternity, or uh, quite honestly, in any app that you are getting yourself onboarded on, right? And an extended version of it will be, how what is the what is that we are looking in the digital financial frauds and how we are safeguarding it. So let me quickly begin with some perspective on uh, the Indian landscape, right? Now, uh, as we are aware that we are a population of over 1.4 billion, this is some data points that we have gathered, and around 18% of the world population resides in India alone. So it's a huge demography. If you talk about the median age itself, it is around 30 years. So India is, as you're all aware, that it's considered as a young country. And when you talk about, the smartphone outreach, uh, basically when you go ahead and actually look at the data as to how many users are really using smartphones. So gone are the days wherein you had, feature phones. Now even the rural India is getting at least one smartphone in their households. So if you see, there are some 86% Indian households who possess at least one smartphone in their house, right? So it's a huge smartphone penetration over a period of time. Certainly Again, all credit to the to the participants, the ecosystem participants, be it the Department of Telecommunication, be it the ministry, and be it the telecom providers who have ensured that this penetration has gone to lengths and breadths of the country. When you look at the digital population, and why we are talking about this is because it is very important to understand, since we are talking about digital transactions. So we need to understand what is our digital population. So if you see, there are more than 43% of internet users just from our rural areas compared to the urban sector. And that itself talks volume because it's a huge number. And so is the case with the internet users. There are around 958 million users, which was at the beginning of 2025, is what was recorded. Now, when you move ahead and give a smartphone to your population, and you have a digital population which is growing leaps and bounds. Obviously, the next question comes that how are I mean, what is a communication medium in the population? How are they getting news? They're getting feeds. They're getting trends. And I'm sure almost all of us who have joined have onboarded themselves on one or the other social media. I mean, most of them. So if you see, it has also, outreached to a large extent, not just in urban part of the country, but to the rural part of the country. So it's a reels world now. So everything, a long story of 2 hours can be put in a very concise manner, and in a 30-second or a 50-second reel. You can talk on the point wise kind of an approach, and you can actually deliver the sentiment. You can deliver the communication to a larger population, right? And since we all are using the phones, we are all using the mobile devices with 4G, 5G, etc. connected. You get to see these feeds on your phone itself. Now, coming to the core topic of KYC. Now, if you remember, at one point in time, and rather traditionally, so first of all, there was no KYC concept. If you go back certain years, and then the Reserve Bank of India realized that certainly there will be there needs to be a safety net wherein before even the customer is getting onboarded in the banking or financial ecosystem, there needs to be a need to basically validate the identity of that user or that customer, right? Of that person rather. So as we all are aware that we have various KYC aspects in terms of you going to the bank and submitting your PAN card, Aadhaar card, your driving license, your rent agreement, etc., etc. There is a long list of KYC documents. However, these were traditional methods of conducting KYC process. Now there is a paradigm shift. There is a huge shift in the KYC and how it is done, in the banks now, because now you also have a digital KYC opened accounts. If you go to a bank and let's say, or rather you don't want to go to a physical bank branch, but you still want to open an account sitting anywhere in the country, you can still do so, because there are options to open your account by simply uploading your PAN Aadhaar and getting the account open in few banks offer in less than 1 minute, less than five minutes, less than 10 minutes, less than 30 minutes. So what I'm trying to say is that this has really moved, wherein initially you have to take a photocopy, you have to go to the branch, you have to submit it, it will get verified, and it will take n number of days for the validation by the central office, and then your account gets opened. So gone are those days. Now, KYC, and I'm talking from the banker's perspective also. KYC is no longer just onboarding. So, there is you it is please imagine this as as an entry gate. It is like a gateway wherein you are getting your customer into the financial ecosystem, right? So as a general customer, my identity will be validated through multiple ways and means. And like I mentioned before, that it used to be in a static verification kind of a format, wherein you have to go and submit the documents, and the banker will come, visit, see your home location, your business location, etc., and then they will open the bank account. So now it is moving beyond that, and it is now based on the dynamic trust monitoring. By dynamic trust monitoring, I mean that they are going to look at various nuances, various behavioral shifts that are actually undertaken, that is undertaken at the time of opening the account. Now, the aspect of KYC is not just limited to the identity, which means the KYC tells you that, okay, I am person ABC, right? But now it does not mean that it is just, validating a particular identity. It is not basically about the confirming the integrity of that person. So, as you're aware that, there are certain financial fraud, certain cyber crimes. Uh, and have you imagined that, actually the fraudster is taking his or her KYC and opening a bank account and somehow getting bypassed. So that element, which is by submitting the document, is not just sufficient enough. There has to be an integrity check there, right? So while the KYC validates the who part of it, like who is that person, the integrity framework is actually how they behave, at the time of onboarding, once they are onboarded, and then what how they are transacting. So everything is interlinked, right? We should not see that in silos. We should not see that as a separate category. Now, again, evolution of this KYC as a process itself, it has, moved from leaps and bounds. Again, it was at one point in time, like I mentioned, that it was simply those paper which needs to be submitted. But now, if the bank wants to validate, they now are enabled with a lot of different data points. For example, your device intelligence. So, let's say I want to a bank account sitting in the remotest part of the country. Okay. And while the bank is operating from a metro city, for example, right, their central team, etc. Now, when I upload the document, they may want to gather some more information, just like, what device am I using, right? What is my location? That is my precise location in terms of latitude and longitude, which is nothing but the geolocation. What are the behavioral patterns that I'm exhibiting? Like, am I doing the KYC in like click, 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 and just done in like 10 seconds, right? And why this is important? Because typically a fraudster is aware of what are the options which will be coming on the next screen, right? Unlike a general person, right? You and I will go, and I will, as a person, you will explore the screen and may take some a little longer time to find out, okay, here is the button to click this particular option, and here is the button to click the other option, right? However, in the case of fraudsters, what they do is, since they are aware of it, they will quickly click the buttons and move ahead. So that also gives a data signal to the banks, and they understand that this guy is doing something fishy, right? And again, the transaction context, if the person is doing that transaction after getting onboarded and exhibiting certain suspicious behavior, we will look at that as well, or the bank is supposed to look at that as well. Now, there are certain, so there was a preconceived notion that, I, as a bank, let's say, I onboard the customer through KYC by taking all the KYC elements and, validating it and etc. And then then the came the need, because obviously there were certain rise and spike in frauds. So the banks then were instructed that, you should also conduct continuous due diligence to understand that you onboarded a customer in, let's say, 2020, but now you are sitting in 2026. Are you actually conducting any kind of a continuous due diligence or not? Are you actually scrutinizing the profile? कि उसके प्रोफाइल में, उसके अकाउंट में, उस कस्टमर के अकाउंट में कितने पैसे आ रहे हैं और कितने पैसे उस अकाउंट से बाहर जा रहे हैं, सो ये जो प्रोसेस था, ये इसको बोला गया, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ने बोला कि आप इस चीज को आप कंटिन्यूअस एक ड्यू डिलिजेंस रखें बैंक्स को, और आपके कस्टमर्स को आप मॉनिटर करें कि इन ट्रांजैक्शंस को आप देखें कि ये ट्रांजैक्शंस जेन्युइन दिख रहे हैं पैटर्न वाइज या फ्रॉडुलेंट दिख रहे हैं, राइट? However, now what has happened is actually, even, they have, the fraudsters also keep on evolving, right? They also try to, see what is the, the weak link in the system, and they try to break it. So now the ask is that you should actually go ahead and look at the real time triggers, which are inclusive of, transaction anomalies. So for example, I'm a student, for example, right? And suddenly, I open an account in the month of January or February beginning, and suddenly I receive a credit of 10 lakh rupees. Now, it is very less likely, and it is like next to impossible, because what is my source of income? My source of income is nothing, because I am a student. But then I have received 10 lakh rupees. So that should be a trigger point for the banks to look at that transaction, कि ये transaction कहाँ से आ रहा है, right? फिर उस transaction जब वो बैंक अकाउंट में आया, तो उस transaction वो अकाउंट में बैलेंस होने के बाद कितने टाइम तक स्टे कर रहा है वो बैलेंस, एंड देन कितनी जल्दी वो बाहर एग्जिट हो रहा है सिस्टम के। क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि कुछ जो इस तरीके के अकाउंट्स ओपन होते हैं, वो इलिसिट पर्पस के लिए भी यूज होते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, कोई फ्रॉडस्टर ने अकाउंट को रेंट कर लिया, ठीक है, वो गया राइटफुल कस्टमर के पास और उसने बोला कि मैं आपको महीने का, लेट्स से, 10,000 रुपीज दूंगा, आप मुझे आपका अपना अकाउंट रेंट कर दें। तो जब इस तरीके के सेटअप्स होते हैं विलफुली, देन क्या होता है कि इन केसेस में कस्टमर ने, तो जो राइटफुल कस्टमर था, उसने अपना बैंकिंग क्रेडेंशियल दे दिया, डेबिट कार्ड का डिटेल्स भी दे दिया, अगर उसने क्रेडिट कार्ड लिया वो भी दे दिया, उसने अपने बैंक का नेट बैंकिंग यूजर नेम पासवर्ड भी दे दिया, अकाउंट नंबर, चेकबुक, पासबुक, सारा कुछ दे दिया। अब इसके बाद क्या होता है कि एक्चुअली में वहां पे जो फ्रॉडस्टर्स जिसने कि ये अकाउंट को रेंट किया है, वो फ्रॉडुलेंट मनी को कलेक्ट करने के लिए या उसको कॉन्डुइट बनाने के लिए, हम उसको बोलते हैं कॉन्डुइट, क्योंकि वो क्या करता है, बैंक अकाउंट ए से बी में ट्रांसफर करेगा, बी टू सी करेगा, सी टू डी करेगा, एंड समवेयर अराउंड, probably in the remotest part of the country, वो जाकर के कैश विड्रॉल कर लेगा, राइट? तो इन केसेस में हमने ये देखा है कि ये सारे अकाउंट्स उस तरीके से मिसयूज होते हैं। दैट इज द रीजन इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी शुड हैव the bank should have a real time triggering mechanism, the triggers, which should include all these parameters that you see on the screen, राइट? कुछ भी डिवाइस चेंज हो रहा है, तो डिवाइस चेंज क्यों हो रहा है, लाइक इज इट रियली जेन्युइन, या फिर कोई कस्टमर उसका अकाउंट टेक ओवर हो गया और वो उस पर्टिकुलर अकाउंट से ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहा है। और ये इसलिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज आपके जितने भी रियल टाइम ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं, पेमेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे आप यूपीआई यूज करते हैं, आप यूपीआई यूज करते हैं, तो आप आपके मोबाइल से, सो एवरीथिंग इज ऑन योर मोबाइल नाउ, सो मोबाइल, सो इन एसेंस इफ आई से, योर मोबाइल हैज बिकम योर बैंक, योर वॉलेट, right? And practically all the applications that you are running is on your mobile, right? So that is the reason it is very, very important that these parameters are looked at. So this is purely from a KYC perspective. Now, coming back to the retail payment options that as which are available to the general public in totality. So we have, as we are aware, debit card, credit card, prepaid card, right? We have been using this since ages, even in the country when the digital transactions even started, right? Uh, Internet banking facilitated by the Reserve Bank of India. We have NEFT and RTGS, right? Which actually, considers a large chunk of, transactions in terms of value, right? Then we have मोबाइल बैंकिंग एप्लीकेशंस बाय वेरियस बैंक्स। तो अगर आपने कोई किसी भी बैंक के साथ आप बैंकिंग कर रहे हो, तो यू हैव वन मोबाइल बैंकिंग एप्लीकेशन वेर यू कैन एक्चुअली चेक योर अकाउंट बैलेंस, यू कैन पुट अ लिमिट ऑन योर कार्ड, कार्ड कंट्रोल लिमिट्स जो होते हैं, आप फंड ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो, आप उसमें अगर इंटीग्रेटेड है तो आप यूपीआई ट्रांजैक्शन कर सकते हो, आप बेनिफिशियरी ऐड कर करके फंड ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, राइट? Then IMPS transaction, it is again a NPCI product wherein we have given you an option to transact in real time as an account transfer, right? UPI, I think I don't need to really mention कि UPI क्या होता है, because I'm sure all of us are using UPI transactions in the forum. वी हैव ई वॉलेट्स, जहाँ पे कि आपने सुना होगा कि वॉलेट है, आपने पैसे को आप आपके लेट्स से few of the customers they don't want to have too many transactions reflecting in their bank accounts. तो उनके पास एक ऑप्शन है कि वो क्रेडिट कार्ड से, डेबिट कार्ड से, यूपीआई से आपके वॉलेट में फंडिंग कर लेंगे, और वहां से फिर आप पैसे को आप फर्दर यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, making utility bill payments like electricity bill, your phone bills, your taxes, etc., etc. Then comes Aadhaar enabled payment system. This is one product of NPCI which is enabled thinking from a perspective that we have to connect the last mile customer. So अगर एक फार्मर है एंड उनके पास में ये ऑप्शन नहीं है कि वो जाकर के कैश विड्रॉल कर सकें इन द रिमोटेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री, then what they can do is they can go to a business correspondent agent, we call them as BC agents, and उनके पास में कैश अवेलेबल है. आधार इनेबल पेमेंट में सिंपली उन्हें एक थंब इम्प्रेशन, उनको एक फिंगरप्रिंट इम्प्रेशन करना है, और सिंस आधार लिंक है उनके बैंक अकाउंट से, तो पैसे डेबिट हो जाएंगे उनके अकाउंट से, और इक्विवेलेंट कैश वो लेकर करके जा सकते हैं. दे डोंट रियली हैव टू गो टू एन एटीएम एंड विड्रॉ द कैश. नाउ we have spoken about the retail payment options. Now we are looking at the key components of these retail payment options. And by key components, I mean what are the authentication mechanisms, what are the combination of the devices that you have to use at the time of doing this transaction. So primarily three types. UPI. सो आप हमेशा एक मोबाइल आपके पास होना चाहिए. उसके पास उसके बाद आपका एक उसके साथ में एक डिवाइस बाइंडिंग होगी, विच मीन्स उसमें आपके मोबाइल में एक सिम कार्ड है, चाहे वो फिजिकल सिम कार्ड है या ई सिम कार्ड है. आप उससे और आपके पास इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए. आप उससे किसी भी एप्लीकेशन पे जो भी यूपीआई एप्लीकेशन है, आप उस पे जा करके और आपके डिवाइस को आप डिवाइस बाइंड करते हैं, राइट? सो आप बेसिकली यूपीआई इकोसिस्टम में ऑनबोर्ड होते हैं, करेक्ट? देन उसमें एक सिक्योरिटी फीचर है, जहाँ पे कि यूपीआई में, जैसा कि आपने यूज किया होगा, आपके पास में एक कस्टमाइज्ड पिन दिया जाता है, जो कि आपकी चॉइस के बेसिस पे आप सेट कर सकते हो, चाहे वो 4 डिजिट हो या 6 डिजिट हो, आपके चॉइस पे आप यूज कर सकते हो. तो कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन जब आप ऑथराइज करते हैं यूपीआई में, कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन आप करते हैं इनिशिएट, तो at the time of debit you are given a screen to input that particular pin, UPI pin, and only then the transaction happens, which means कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा सिक्योरिटी फीचर है, जहां पे कि हमने कस्टमर को ही बोला कि आप अपने हिसाब से एक पिन सेट कर लें जो भी आपके कन्वीनियंस के लगता है, और आप उसको यूटिलाइज करें ट्रांजैक्शंस करने के लिए. देन वी हैव आधार इनेबल्ड पेमेंट सिस्टम, जहाँ पे कि एक आधार नंबर चाहिए, एक बैंक का आपके पास में बैंक अकाउंट होना चाहिए, राइट? और जो भी ऑथेंटिकेशन यहाँ पे होता है जब आप ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं, तो वो आपके बायोमेट्रिक एक्सेस से होता है, विच मीन्स योर थंब इम्प्रेशन से आपका वो ट्रांजैक्शन होता है. देन कम्स द कार्ड्स पार्ट. तो आप डेबिट कार्ड, क्रेडिट कार्ड यूज करते हैं. उन केसेस में क्या होता है कि आप या तो फिजिकल किसी टर्मिनल पे जाके आप ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहे हैं, जैसे कि आप किसी एटीएम टर्मिनल पे जाते हैं और कैश विड्रॉ करते हैं, और यू गो टू अ पॉस टर्मिनल एंड यू डिप योर कार्ड एंड गो ahead and do a transaction at a petrol station, at a grocery store, supermarket, so on and so forth. There, in the physical mode, you require a 4 digit PIN that you have set up for your card. And in online transactions, you require something which is known as a CVV and expiration date and the card number. So, uske combination pe you can do the transaction, right? Followed by a secured method of authentication, which is by and large followed by majority of the banks, is the OTP, right? Because as per regulatory guidelines, there has to be a two-factor authentication on these transactions, right? Now, coming to our favorite UPI. So, early warning before you are actually even initiating a payment. Now, look at the screen and you see that whenever you are in, what is the USP of UPI? I mean, there are many, but let me talk about this one first. So let's say I have to transact from, from my account to my friend's account, right? Now, uh, in this case, I know that this is my friend and this is his number, and he's there in my contact list. So I am comfortable in sending the money to this particular person. Now imagine a situation wherein you have to transact the amount to an unknown beneficiary, right? To an unknown, beneficiary, to an unknown payee, as we call in the banking fraternity, जिसके बारे में आपको कोई जानकारी नहीं है, बट आप उससे कोई गुड्स और सर्विसेज परचेज करना चाहते हो या आपका कोई पर्सनल निजी कोई ट्रांजैक्शन है आपकी, तो अगर आप वो करना चाहते हो, उस केस में यूपीआई में ये फीचर दिया जाता है जहां पे कि आप उसका मोबाइल नंबर जब आप डालते हो, राइट, तो उसका बैंकिंग में जो नाम उन्होंने दिया हुआ है इन हिज केवाईसी, वो फेच होता है, यानी वो आपको स्क्रीन पे दिखता है, करेक्ट। सो द सीबीएस नेम, सो उसको बोलते हैं कोर बैंकिंग सिस्टम पे जो बैंकिंग जो बैंक रिकॉर्ड्स में उनका नाम है वो फेच हो जाता है। इससे फायदा क्या होता है, आपको एटलीस्ट पता चलता है कि क्या ये पैसा मिस्टर एक्स को ही भेजना है, क्योंकि मेरा ट्रांजैक्शन मिस्टर एक्स के साथ होने वाला है इन टर्म्स ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज, या क्या ये मैं पैसा मिस्टर वाई को भेज रहा हूँ। तो अगर मिस्टर वाई दिखता है स्क्रीन पे, तो यू शुड बी अवेयर and you should be conscious. You should not initiate the payment till the time you are 100% sure that this money is going to the intended beneficiary, right? And then comes the page, which is the यूपीआई पेज, द जहाँ पे कि आप पिन एंटर करते हैं, जिसकी हम थोड़ी देर पहले बात कर रहे थे। तो आपको ये दिखता है कि आपका बैंक अकाउंट क्या है और आप किस बैंक अकाउंट, किस कस्टमर को, किस बेनिफिशियरी को ये पैसा भेज रहे हो और कितना अमाउंट आप भेज रहे हो, एंड देन फॉलोड बाय द द पिन दैट यू हैव टू एंटर in order to complete the transaction. Now, you may be aware कि frauds by and large, किस तरीके से मैनिपुलेशन के थ्रू किया जाता है। देयर कैन बी मल्टीपल वेज, राइट? आपने सोशल मीडिया में भी पढ़ा होगा, आपने न्यूज़पेपर्स में भी पढ़ा होगा, आपने न्यूज़ में भी देखा होगा, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ। तो अगर इस चीज को मैं ब्रेक करूं कि ये व्हाट इज द फ्रॉड साइकोलॉजी बिहाइंड these fraudsters in doing these transactions, right? Fraudulent transactions. सबसे पहला होता है ग्रीड, जहां पे जो विक्टिम है, जो यूजर है डिजिटल प्रोडक्ट का, और जो बैंक अकाउंट होल्डर है, he or she himself gets entrapped in the context of greed, जहां पे कि उसको कोई एक ऐसा ऑफर दिया जाता है जहां पे कि उसको बहुत लुक्रेटिव लगेगा कि आप पैसे इन्वेस्ट करो और आप उसका 10x रिटर्न पा लो 30 days में। नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी सेंसिटिव मैटर, and I take this opportunity, to inform all of you that majority of the frauds that we see and observe sitting at NPCI, sitting, and discussing with the bankers, by and large, it is coming on the from the context of greed. It is driven by greed as a psychology, where the customer is himself or herself initiating this transaction to the fraudsters, right? कोई स्कीम उन्होंने बता दिया, कोई जॉब ऑफर दे दिया, स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्टमेंट का दे दिया ऑप्शन, and then you go ahead and invest the money, and maybe they may give you certain returns, in very lesser quantum, right? And establish a trust, and only after that, after you realize that, after 10 days, 15 days, or a month time, or a 6 months time, you were promised that you will get 10x return, and when you actually go back and speak with them, either they will not answer your call, they are not reachable, or you will never see that money coming into your bank account, right? Then comes the part fear. So आपने मेरे ख्याल से कुछ लोगों ने ये मैसेजेस भी आपके अकाउंट, आपके सेल फोन पे आए होंगे, जहाँ पे कि And again, this should come from some unknown number, some mobile number which will reflect on the header, जहाँ पे कि आपसे ये बोला जाएगा कि आपके मोबाइल फोन का जो सर्विस है वो कल डिस्कनेक्ट कर दिया जाएगा। और उससे बचने के लिए व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज यू हैव टू कॉल दिस नंबर और क्लिक ऑन द लिंक एंड सबमिट सर्टेन डिटेल्स, योर financial details, your banking credentials. And the moment you do that, we know what will happen, right? The credentials will be passed on to the fraudster and they will initiate that transaction. Or they will reach out to you and they will ask you for sensitive credential because they may want OTP, they may want your PIN, etc., etc., and then the fraudulent transaction will take place. Then comes a part ignorance, wherein let's say you receive a notification on your mobile phone stating that you have received in order to receive the money from party A, B, C, etc. You have to click on the notification and enter your UPI pin. The moment you do that, that fund gets actually debited instead of you receiving a credit, right? And in certain cases, we do not see the header of that SMS, the language of that SMS, which is sent out by these fraudsters. So typically, it will come from an unknown number. Now, whenever अगर आपने नोटिस किया हो, आपके जब भी आपका बैंक आपको कोई नोटिफिकेशन भेजता है जो लेजिटिमेट कम्युनिकेशन होता है, वो एक सर्टेन हेडर से आता है, राइट? राइट, ABC बैंक और etc etc. However, when it comes to your fraudulent notification, you will never see this. You will actually see that it is coming from an unknown number, and there at times you will also find there are certain spelling mistakes which are there in that SMS. So at that point in time, you should be absolutely vigilant before you click or take any action on any of the link, or before you outcall any user or the person who is mentioned in that messages. Now comes the part which I was talking about, investment scam. And let me tell you that this is the most hot topic which is prevalent in the ecosystem for some time, right? And let me also tell you that it is not limited to only people who are little less aware about digital transactions, or people who are lacking literacy, etc., or it is confined to some rural areas, etc. It is no more the case. The screen that you're looking at, we have actually captured this screen wherein a doctor by profession was actually sent out a message on an instant messaging app, and then he was asked to actually invest certain money. He was added into a group and he was asked to then invest certain money in the stock market, right? So they will create a group on leading social media platforms, and there will be 10 different people who are added from their own circle. The fraudsters themselves will be present, many of them, and they will post very positive about the uh, the about that particular group, about that particular investment scheme. So you also get you get a validity, you get a validation from them that okay, 10 लोगों ने किया है तो मैं भी करूंगा तो मुझे भी पैसे मिल जाएंगे. But let me again emphasize on the fact that it is only a trap. You are only going to, lose your money in the larger quantum. There is no such, scheme which is run by and which is authorized by the SEBI in this context. These are those Ponzi schemes wherein you are only going to lose the money. Do not click on any link. Do not make any payment to an unknown beneficiary on the pretext of this. In fact, the screen that you are looking at, they will actually show you a fake dashboard that okay, let's say you invested 1 lakh rupees or 50,000 rupees, etc., depending upon your suitability. Now these fraudsters will actually show you a screen which will let you know that your investment of 1 lakh has actually grown into 5 lakhs. So you will see a profit loss kind of a screen at that as you're looking at the screen. and you will be convinced that my money is actually growing in the market because you have invested it in some right instrument. But that is not the case. The moment you keep investing and ask for return, they will ask you to invest more because your money is only growing. And on that pretext, you will keep on investing. And at the end of 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, or maybe we have seen certain cases wherein people invested money for 6 months and they have taken loan. Okay, they have involved their family members, right? And unfortunately, there have been cases where people had to commit suicide. It is really, really very unfortunate that people have to go to this extent to invest the money in these schemes and lose out big time because they have to actually sell their home, their assets, their immovable assets, and borrow money from someone else to come out of this particular trap. Just like that, we also have observed that there are certain schemes which are run, and these messages are directed to people who are probably not working, not the working class, and they want to get some money, etc., in a very short duration. So what these forces do is they will actually send you some link and they will inform you that there is a part-time job available. You simply have to click some 10 links on some social media platform, and for every click you will receive X amount of money, right? So these kind of frauds are also very, very pertinent. And for in order to enroll into this program, you just have to invest like 1,000 rupees for the registration or 500 rupees for the registration. And we will keep on sending you the link. And the moment you complete this task or job, we will transfer the amount back to your bank account. Again, they will give you some dubious page, some fake page, wherein you will see these kind of options wherein you have to select, add the money in the wallet, etc., etc. And then ultimately these fraudsters will siphon the funds from your bank account, right? Now, coming to the the first part of the investment scam. So this is basically the summary that you can derive out of this kind of a investment scam kind of a MO, which is a modus operandi. So an unknown person will actually approach this particular customer or the victim. They will actually entice you, or they will ask you to invest some money, and they may also give you certain small returns, right, to establish a trust, right? And then these so basically whenever you're investing the money, these are basically, it looks like that these are genuine apps, but these are not, right? This is something which is which is something which they will send it as an APK file, right? It's like a side loader file which is basically not available in the Play Store or App Store. And then you invest the money in this particular in through these particular apps. Now, once these money is collected from various people, one fine day they will go ahead and run away. They are either be not contactable, like I mentioned before, or when you go back and check your account statements whether you are actually receiving the money, the answer will be no. You will not be receiving any money, any actual real money in your bank account. So in the current scheme of things, we are seeing more than 90% of the frauds which are actually initiated by the customer itself, which are induced by the customer itself. And I take this forum to inform that before we initiate any such payment, we should be 100% sure as to where we are making the payments, right? Now, this is something which is not just, by the example that I gave, it is not just, there is no divide between a poor class or a rich class or a literate or an illiterate, etc. It is across the board, people are falling prey to these kind of scams. Now, how are they actually siphoning the funds? I mean, so आपने ये देखा कि इतने सारे पैसे तो उसने ले लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट स्कैम के थ्रू, बट ये पैसे मूव कैसे हो रहे हैं? सो थोड़ी देर पहले हमने बात किया था कि कुछ लोग, कुछ फ्रॉडस्टर्स बैंक अकाउंट को रेंट करते हैं, राइट? सो दीज आर नोन एज टिपिकली द म्यूल अकाउंट्स, राइट? And then all this money which is collected through multiple people, this money is actually comes from various hops, from various levels, and then they are siphoned off out of the country through something which is known as cryptocurrency. This is one of the many examples. So cryptocurrency अगर आपने सुना हो तो करेंसी में ट्रेसेबिलिटी नहीं होती है कि फंड, क्योंकि वो एक ब्लॉकचेन बेस्ड एक प्रोडक्ट है, एंड इट इज नॉट बैक्ड बाय एनी रेगुलेटर आल्सो, राइट? सो इट इज अ फिएट करेंसी एज वी कॉल इन द बैंकिंग फ्रेटर्निटी, राइट? सो ये सारा पैसा जो कलेक्ट हुआ, ये सारे इलिसिट पर्पसेस के लिए ही यूज होता है। फ्रॉड होगा, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग होगी, या फिर कोई फाइनेंशियल क्राइम होगा, या एक्चुअल क्राइम्स जो आप सुनते हो, that there is a crime pertaining to human trafficking. There is a crime in terms of hawala. हमने सबने सुना होगा कि हवाला होता है. So all this money which is collected over a period of time is by and large, gets moved out of the country through these routes. And hence, it is very important that we are sure about our banking credentials. We keep on checking our bank records, statements, etc. As a general practice. And most importantly, we at any point in time do not get approached by anyone who is promising me that I will give you certain returns on my on your bank account if you simply rent it, or if you simply give the credentials and I will pay you X amount over a period of time. Because the reason being is, if you are caught doing so, there are implications on the account, on the customer, and there are legal repercussions which are associated with it, because you never know that when you did this, when you rented your account, etc., or you have given this to a fraudster, for what purposes they are actually using it. It can be a terror financing activity also, right? It can be hawala, it can be human trafficking, it can be any other crimes that you can possibly think of, right? So this is very important that we are sure about our bank account. Now, one very, very crucial topics that we wanted to highlight in this forum was also on the APKs, the SMS forwarding apps that we are looking. Now, typically what these fraudsters were doing was, in back in the ages, that they used to simply call and they used to ask कि आपका card credentials क्या है, या UPI credentials क्या है, etc., etc. And there was a lengthy conversation, right? Now what they have done is that they also realized कि the common public is aware कि अभी ज़्यादा मैं बात करूंगा तो the person may also find it little fishy कि ये मुझसे इतनी सारी डिटेल्स क्यों पूछ रहा है. तो अभी इन्होंने क्या करना शुरू किया है, they will send you a file, and this typically happens on your Android devices. I want to highlight this because in Android you can actually download a file apart from your Play Store, and as an app, and you can use that, right? Because it is an open platform. In iOS there are certain restrictions, so yeah, we call it as side loading, or those APKs that is not allowed in the iOS. Now, in this platform, on this Android platform, what they will do is they will send you one APK, and the moment you install that APK on your phone, I mean, you may receive it from any social instant messaging app, etc. And the moment you install this particular APK on your phone, it will start transmitting all the information that you can possibly think of, because at the time of installation it will ask you for many permissions, very many sensitive permissions, which you should be refraining from sharing. For example, your voice, your camera access, your photo gallery access, your instant messaging app access, right? Your I mean the entire SMS containing the banking credential access, right? So all these details are actually asked by these in the APK file itself, and you will never realize how your credentials got transmitted. तो आपको लगेगा कि मैंने तो सिर्फ एक फाइल डाउनलोड किया था, बट मुझे मैंने आगे कुछ भी नहीं किया. But that APK is actually doing the job, and hence very important that we should not download any unknown file on our phone, any which ways which has been given by the any unknown person, right? So you should always validate what is the importance of that particular file. Why am I asked to install that? कभी भी आपने ऐसा नहीं सुना होगा कि कोई भी आपका बैंक आपको आके बोले कि सर आप या मैम आप आकर के मेरे को ये पर्टिकुलर मैं आपको फाइल भेज रहा हूँ ईमेल के थ्रू या इंस्टेंट मैसेजिंग ऐप के थ्रू और या एसएमएस के थ्रू और आप इसको डाउनलोड कर लो which is outside of the Play Store. They will always quote you that this is Bank ABC and Bank ABC का mobile banking application is available on the Play Store or the App Store, right? So this is very very important. फेक एसएमएस आपने सुना होगा कि कुछ केसेस में एक मैसेज आया जहाँ पे कि जो फ्रॉडस्टर था वो विक्टिम का जो जो विक्टिम है जिसको वो कॉल कर रहा है उसका वो बोलेगा कि जो विक्टिम है उसके फादर या ओल्ड फ्रेंड उसका वो ओल्ड फ्रेंड है एंड देन ही विल जस्ट वांट टू ही विल ट्राई टू इंसिस्ट दैट मैंने गलती से आपको मैंने मैंने 10,000 रुपये आपको भेजने थे मैं आपके आपके फादर ने बोला था कि 10,000 रुपये मुझे आपको रिटर्न करने हैं तो मैं आपको रिटर्न कर रहा हूँ एंड सडनली यू विल रिसीव अ fake SMS and you can see this it will come from typically from a mobile number that a larger amount is credited तो सर मैं आपको 10,000 रुपये तो आपको भेज रहा हूँ लेकिन बेटा गलती से आपके अकाउंट में 1 लाख रुपए चले गए राइट अभी आपके पापा को तो मुझे सिर्फ 10,000 रुपये देने थे लेकिन मैंने उनको गलती से 1 लाख रुपए दे दिए अब क्या होता है कि आप विदाउट चेकिंग योर बैंक अकाउंट व्हाट यू विल डू इज एसेंशियली यू विल गो कि अच्छा ठीक है चलो कोई बात नहीं मैं इनका एक्सेसिव अमाउंट आ गया है मेरे पास में तो let me go to the UPI app maybe and let me transfer back to his bank account without realizing that it is actually a fake message by that fraudster and the money that you are sending first of all it has never been credited in your bank account because ये जो SMS आप देख रहे हो while it will look from coming from a bank a reputed bank but it is actually not from a bank this is a typed message it is a fake typed message which is sent out to you correct so before you initiate when you receive any kind of this notification these calls you should always double check with your own relative or friend whether there is any such transaction which was pending or there was any kind of a loan etc which is pending and what is this person I mean who is this person who's calling and asking for these details right and very important before you are making a payment and when you are making a payment you always cross validate it in your mobile banking application which is a legitimate mobile banking application available on the Play Store or App Store because that will actually give you the right statement. You may have also heard about some remote control apps, remote access, which takes the the access of your phone remotely, and fraudsters are also using these applications. These are so in a majority of the cases they can also be used for genuine purposes, legitimate purposes. For example, मुझे आपको help करना है. You are my friend or family, and I want to help you to find out certain options on your phone or install something for you. So there are various applications available through which I can do that, right? And help you in a genuine use case. But ऐसे भी कुछ बट इस एप्लीकेशन को फ्रॉडस्टर कैसे मिसयूज करता है वो विक्टिम को कॉल करता है और बोलता है कि आप ये पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन आपके फ़ोन पे इंस्टॉल कर लो एंड देन जो फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन होता है वो उसको इनिशिएट करता है उसके एंड से कार्ड डिटेल्स लेके या यूपीआई डिटेल्स लेकर के उसके बाद जब वो नोटिफिकेशंस आते हैं बैंक के तो वो उसको विजिबल होता है फॉर एग्जांपल ओटीपी आया तो नोटिफिकेशन में आया और उसको विजिबल हो गया तो वो क्या करेगा उसके एंड पे बैठ करके वो आपकी ओटीपी को डाल करके ट्रांजैक्शंस को इनिशिएट कर देगा दैट इज द रीजन वी हैव आस्क्ड द एप्लीकेशंस इन बैंक्स एंड एवरीवन टू इंस्टॉल रन टाइम एप्लीकेशन सेल्फ प्रोटेक्शन विच मीन्स जब आप ट्रांजैक्शन करते होगे तो आपने कुछ इंस्टेंसेस पे देखा भी होगा शायद जहाँ पे कि अब जब आप ट्रांजैक्शन करते हो तो आप जब आपका यूपीआई पिन डालते हो फॉर एग्जांपल तो वो स्क्रीन जब आप स्क्रीनशॉट भी लोगे तो वो ब्लैकआउट हो जाता है सो दैट इज नोन एज रन टाइम एप्लीकेशन सेल्फ प्रोटेक्शन विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द बैंक्स टू इंस्टॉल आपने कुछ केसेस में सुना होगा आई एम श्योर आप में से कुछ जो लोग कॉर्पोरेट में काम करते हैं उनके पास आपने वो भी इंस्टेंसेस सुने होंगे कि सडनली एक टॉप एग्जीक्यूटिव हैं उस कंपनी के और उनका मैसेज आया किसी जूनियर स्टाफ को ये बोल करके कि आप इमीडिएटली कुछ फंड्स ट्रांसफर को इनिशिएट करो और अकाउंट कंपनी के अकाउंट से आप इस पर्टिकुलर बैंक अकाउंट में ट्रांजैक्शन करो दिस इज माय ऑर्डर राइट? सो डू इट इन लाइक 5 minutes, डू इट इन लाइक 10 minutes। अब क्या होता है उस केसेस में, जो स्टाफ है जिसको वो ट्रांजैक्शन इनिशिएट करना है और एंड एंड फाइनली उसको ऑथराइज करवा के लेना है, वो बिना ये चेक किए हुए कि ये एग्जीक्यूटिव एक्चुअली में एग्जीक्यूटिव है कि नहीं है, उसकी सिर्फ फोटो वहां दिख रही है, इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम सम अदर मोबाइल नंबर। हमने ये भी देखा है कि कुछ ओवरसीज वाले नंबर्स जो होते हैं वो भी यहाँ पे फीचर करते हैं। सो इट इज नॉट जस्ट द इंडियन नंबर, इट इज ऑल्सो सम ओवरसीज नंबर विद द फोटो एंड लोगो ऑफ द टॉप एग्जीक्यूटिव देयर और द कंपनी देयर। और यही होता है इग्नोरेंस। हम लोग थोड़ी देर पहले इग्नोरेंस की बात कर रहे थे एज अ फ्रॉड साइकोलॉजी। यही है इग्नोरेंस, जहाँ पे कि आपने एज अ स्टाफ मेंबर आपने ये वैलिडेट नहीं किया और आपने फंड ट्रांसफर इनिशिएट कर लिया, या उन्होंने जो भी फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन करने के लिए बोला वो आपने इनिशिएट कर दिया। एंड लेटर व्हेन यू एक्चुअली स्पीक टू द एग्जीक्यूटिव, यू रियलाइज कि ही नेवर कॉन्टेक्टेड यू, राइट? So this is very very important for all those who are working in corporates. फेक एड्स, राइट? आपने बहुत बार ऐसा देखा होगा कि आप जब गूगल पे कोई चीज़ सर्च करते हो, आप जाते हो और आप देखते हो कि मुझे नियर बाई शॉप में से कुछ बाई करना है। वहाँ पे आपको बहुत सारी ऐसी लिस्टिंग्स मिलेंगी जो कि फेक लिस्टिंग्स होती हैं, जहाँ पे कि जो नंबर दिया गया है, राइट? या कुछ केसेस में जब आपके ट्रांजैक्शन स्टक हो गए, या फिर आपका आपने इनिशिएट किया ट्रांजैक्शन, उसके बारे में आपको कोई हेल्प चाहिए, तो इस तरीके के कुछ फेक पेजेस बने होते हैं जहां पे कि एक फेक नंबर मेंशन किया गया होता है, राइट? जो कि टिपिकली 1800, जो 1800 या 1600 जो हमारा नंबर है उससे शुरू नहीं होता है। एंड दिस नंबर विल एक्चुअली बी अ मोबाइल नंबर। व्हेन यू कॉल दैट नंबर, यू आर एक्चुअली कॉलिंग द फ्रॉडस्टर, right? And when you call the fraudster, again, I don't need to really explain, these fraudsters will start taking and gathering information from you, and then you will fall into the trap of these frauds, right? So this is known as reverse phishing, because जहाँ पे कि आप खुद सर्च करते हो कुछ keywords और उसके बेसिस पे आप अपनी credentials शेयर करते हो। ऑनलाइन एक्सचेंज प्लेटफॉर्म्स, ये भी एक बहुत टिपिकल सा फ्रॉड होता है, जहाँ पे कि फॉर एग्जांपल आपको कोई चीज़ सेल करना है, आपको लेट्स से फर्नीचर सेल करना है, कि बाइक है, कार है, एक्सेट्रा, वो आपको सेल करना है, तो आप क्या करते हो कि आप उसका एक एडवर्टीजमेंट डालते हो इन लीडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे। और जैसे ही आप डालते हो, आपने देखा होगा या सुना होगा मे बी, जहाँ पे कि आपको इमीडिएटली कुछ कॉल्स आने शुरू हो जाते हैं, मैसेजेस आने शुरू हो जाते हैं, या आपको लिंक्स आने शुरू हो जाते हैं, कि जहाँ पे कि एक जो फ्रॉडस्टर है वो ऐसा प्रिटेंड करेगा कि ही इज अ प्रोस्पेक्टिव बायर, ही वांट्स टू बाय योर प्रोडक्ट दैट यू हैव पुट ऑनलाइन। And sometimes we have also seen that he may pose himself or herself as a army official or a government official to gain the trust, right? And then once you are sure, I mean, they will convince you, they will entice you, and then they will send you a link, a QR code on your number. However, he or she should be sending the money directly to you. But then in this case, they will send you the link, the QR, जहाँ पे वो बोलेगा कि सर आप मुझे सिर्फ एडवांस पेमेंट करने के लिए मैं आपको करना चाहता हूँ, और आप ये लिंक ले लो और इसके ऊपर में आप इनिशिएट कर दो एक ट्रांजैक्शन। जैसे ही वो ट्रांजैक्शन क्यूआर को स्कैन करता है या वो लिंक पे क्लिक करता है और जा करके वो अपना यूपीआई पिन एंटर करता है, इनफैक्ट instead of you receiving the money, you actually lose the money. Because one thing we should always remember, the moment you input your UPI pin, the money is going to get debited from your bank account. आप जैसे ही आपका यूपीआई पिन डालते हैं किसी भी एप्लीकेशन पे, आपका आपके अकाउंट से पैसा दूसरे अकाउंट में जाता है, डेबिट होता है, ना कि क्रेडिट होता है। क्रेडिट पाने के लिए कभी भी आपको यूपीआई का पिन डालने की जरूरत नहीं है। कुछ केसेस में आपने ये भी सुना होगा, मीडिया आर्टिकल्स में देखा होगा कि एंड दिस इज रियली वेरी कंसर्निंग फॉर दोज हु आर यू नो very vulnerable segment. For example, housewives, you have senior citizens, etc. And in certain cases, we have also seen, professionals, doctors, engineers falling prey to this. You receive a call suddenly from someone who is acting as a police official or a custom employee, right? Custom staff. और वो आपको ये बोलेगा कि आपके नाम पे किसी XYZ एयरपोर्ट पे एक सब्सटेंस मिला है, राइट? टिपिकली ड्रग्स मिला है, और आपका नाम इसमें आ जाएगा। Now, till the time you don't come online, and we have to conduct investigation, a digital investigation on this. So you have to come in a secluded room, you have to present your PAN card, Aadhaar card, and we have to conduct this investigation. If you don't do so, we will come and arrest you physically. Now, in this case, when you look at this person, you will look at it as if he or she is a police inspector himself or a custom official himself. Background में भी आपको वो दिखेगा और आप उससे convince हो सकते हो. And then they will engage you for few hours. In fact, in certain cases, we have seen they have engaged the victim for a couple of days, right? उनको strictly बोला कि आप आपके घर से बाहर नहीं जा सकते हो till the time this investigation is over, right? And at the end, towards the end, ultimately, what they will say is, okay, we will go ahead and settle this case. Okay, आपने जो भी एविडेंस दिया, आपने जो भी आपके बारे में बताया, उससे हम सहमत हैं, बट इसको सेटल करने के लिए आपको एज अ एक सर्टेन अमाउंट आपको पे करना होगा in order to ensure that all these charges against you is settled, and then you make the payment. So when you make this payment, you are actually making payments to the fraudsters. Okay? This is needless to mention. So please be aware that any such calls when you receive, you have to simply say that, okay, sir, or okay, ma'am. If there is any someone, if there is any FIR, if there is any police complaint which is filed against me, you let me know the police station wherein I have to come and present myself physically in order to investigate, for you to investigate this particular case. So do not fall trap into this particular digital arrest kind of a scheme, because this is also very rampant. We have seen that, and now everyone is talking about AI/ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And over a period of time, the fraudsters have also evolved, and we see that they are faking KYC, they are faking certain messages and calls. Few of the snapshots we have seen in the previous slides. They are not only doing this, they are also creating certain deep fake videos of your own um, relative friend. They are also cloning the voice, right? And they are calling you and they're asking that your child is actually apprehended on the charges of so and so, and if you do not submit the money, you will and again a police official, and if you do not submit the money, your child will be apprehended for a number of days in the jail, right? So out of a hurry, or it can be your son, it can be your daughter, it can be your family members, etc., and out of a hurry you go ahead and ignore this red flags, and actually go ahead and make the payment. And when you do so, again, the money is never going to come back. We have seen people losing money in this. So very, very important. These are all artificially generated, or rather voice cloned, instances that you see, wherein it will appear that your son or daughter is talking, or your friend or family or relatives are talking, but it is actually not the case. So what you should be doing is you should be actually calling the exact relative or friend and validating that, are you really in trouble, are you really being apprehended, and do you want any help? And only then you should be conscious about, and then may initiate any kind of a payment, right? Then you have certain initiatives. Now, what NPCI is doing, in order to control these kind of frauds. So what we do is, at NPCI, we are analyzing certain reportings which are done by the member banks. These are fraud reportings. We analyze it not just from static purpose. We are from a static strategy that this is just basis the numbers, the data. We are also utilizing our AI/ML based learning models that we have deployed for the safety of the general public. Imagine, you are making a payment to an unknown beneficiary. Now, even your bank, in this case, will not have a holistic picture of that particular beneficiary at the other end. In order to solve this, what NPCI has done is, NPCI has created certain models, AI/ML models, which will look at the interaction of this particular beneficiary with the ecosystem to whom you are actually going to make the payment, right? And it will try and assess whether this is a good guy or a bad guy. In case if he's a bad guy, we may want to decline certain transactions to a certain extent, right? This is done only to safeguard our own users, our own citizens from falling prey into these kind of a fraud. Right, so we are taking multiple steps. We have developed multiple models, such models, wherein possibly you as a user, as a customer, may fall prey to these kind of frauds. Right, we are also looking at your certain transactions in the banking from in a bank account from a debit and credit side. And there are certain limits that we place in order to ensure that there is no superfluous movement of funds in this particular in those particular bank accounts. So hence safeguarding you from a larger frauds that we see. We also conduct certain exercise where we try to see that, okay, what are these websites talking about? Are they actually putting out any kind of an advertisement like a lottery scam or an investment scam, and asking people to send out money on this particular VPA or mobile number or through or UPI ID, etc. And we try to filter those and take necessary action on them to block them. Right, we try and also have continuous engagement with the law enforcement agency, practically every enforcement agency in the country, Ministry of Home Affairs, then we have the FIU, right? We have the Department of Telecommunication, we have Intelligence Bureau, and obviously the Reserve Bank of India. There are certain awareness campaigns also that we run for the general public. And maybe you may have come across certain ads, certain YouTube campaigns that you may have seen, which are generally available for all the general public, wherein Shri Pankaj Tripathi has been selected as as a mascot for the fraud awareness. And there are various programs, मैं मूर्ख नहीं हूँ, ज्ञान से ध्यान से, these kind of ads are actually propagated for the general public. So we collaborate with RJs, we collaborate on the radio platforms, the social media platforms, the YouTube is one of them, and certainly various messaging which is also done on our websites, etc. Right, there are various apps who run these ads also on the apps itself, or at least there is a awareness video. So with this to cover, I am open to questions, any that you have.
Thank you. Wonderful session and simplifying terminologies for us. So I would like to request participants kindly raise your hands or put your questions in the comment box. So we'll take them one by one. Firstly, I would request Dr. Sunil Sharma. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Dr. Sunil Sharma, please unmute yourself.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Mm, मैं myself विश्वजीत नंदा, रिसोर्स पर्सन। क्या होता है कि यूपीआई कंपनी जो जितना भी है, जीपे हो और फोन पे है, क्या होता है, हम लोग जब डिवाइसेस चेंज करते हैं, कि हम जब बैंक एक्टिवेशन करते हैं, उसी पर क्या होता है कि जब एंड्रॉयड से आईओएस जाते हैं और आईओएस से एंड्रॉयड को ट्रांसफर करते हैं, उसी वक्त क्या होता है, दिक्कत होता है टेक्निकली। माई सेल्फ ऑल्सो एक एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं 10 दिन से ट्राई कर रहा हूँ कि कैसे मैं बैंक एक्टिवेट सक्सेसफुली करूँ, लेकिन क्या होता है, यूपीआई वाले जो फोन करते हैं उन लोग बोलते हैं कि ये टेक्निकल इशू है डिवाइसेस का। डिवाइसेस, we don't have any person having sitting here with the devices knowledge, आईफोन वगैरह या एंड्रॉयड का। मैं सोचता हूँ कि यूपीआई कंपनी जो जितने भी है उनका कोई एक्सपर्ट होना चाहिए, जिनके पास कोई एक्सपर्ट और डिवाइसेस एक्सपर्ट होना चाहिए, जो हम लोगों को और कस्टमर को ये कर सकते हैं, एडवाइस दे सकते हैं और टेक्निकल इनपुट्स देते थे, हाउ दे एक्टिवेट द बैंक अकाउंट। दिस इज माय
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर। एंड आई थिंक ये आपने बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल किया है, क्योंकि जैसा आपने बताया कि आप 10 डेज से एक्टिवेशन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। सर सबसे पहले तो इसके लिए आप आपके बैंक अकाउंट जहाँ पे भी आप होल्ड करते हैं जो बैंक अकाउंट, आप उनको अप्रोच कर सकते हैं एज एज अ फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट, बिकॉज वो उनकी जिम्मेदारी है कि आप जो यूपीआई सर्विस है, बिकॉज यूपीआई इज अ digital transaction, right? You are inconvenienced
Yes.
by not accessing that, right? Service as a service. And it's a huge inconvenience, I can understand, sir. सर इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि जब आप डिवाइस चेंज करते हैं और इनफैक्ट आप किसी भी ऐप पे जाएंगे तो उसमें एक हेल्प सेंटर होता है जहाँ पे कि कुछ वीडियोस ऑलरेडी आपको दिए जाते हैं कि आप कैसे बैंक अकाउंट लिंक कर सकते हैं और एक्टिवेट कर सकते हैं। तो जनरली आप किसी भी जिस भी ऐप पे आप जाएं सर, उस पे आप हेल्प सेक्शन पे जाएं और वहाँ पे कुछ वीडियोस ऑलरेडी एम्बेडेड होते हैं। ठीक
Same
है,
thing I have
टिपिकली।
done. Same thing I have.
राइट। कमिंग कमिंग टू द अदर पॉइंट सर, अगर इसके बाद भी अगर आप एक्टिवेशन आपको करने में कोई भी किसी भी तरीके की परेशानी होती है सर, तो सर ये डिवाइस का सर जो लॉजिक है वो ये है कि आपने एंड्रॉइड से आईओएस या आईओएस एंड्रॉइड किसी भी केस में किया, आपके जो इनिशियल 24 आवर्स होते हैं सर, क्योंकि अगर आप टिपिकली अगर आप सिम भी चेंज करते हो तो सिम चेंज के केसेस में 24 आवर्स तक आपके इनकमिंग और आउटगोइंग मैसेजेस बंद हो जाते हैं। दिस इज एज पर द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशन गाइडलाइंस, क्योंकि उस पर भी हमें फ्रॉड आते थे सर। ठीक है, तो वो हमने 24 आवर्स के लिए बंद कर दिया, क्योंकि हमें ये सेफगार्ड करना है कि आपका जो आउटगोइंग मैसेज है वो फ्रॉडस्टर मिसयूज कर करके सिम स्वैप के कुछ केसेस होते थे जहाँ पे कि आपके नाम पे कोई एक कोई किसी फ्रॉडस्टर ने एक सिम इशू करा लिया बिकॉज ऑफ वीक केवाईसी कंट्रोल्स, एंड उस वो सिम ले करके वो आपके बिहाफ पे आपके बैंकिंग ट्रांजैक्शन कर रहा है। तो ये नंबर 1 हो गया सर। तो 24 घंटे तक ये सर्विसेज नहीं होती हैं इन केस ऑफ सिम चेंज। सेकंड हो गया सर, जब आपका डिवाइस चेंज होता है, इस तरीके का कोई भी रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है जहाँ पे कि आप यूपीआई यूज सर्विसेज यूज नहीं कर सकते हैं। हाँ, लेकिन एक चीज होती है सर, जहाँ पे कि आपकी एक सर्टेन लिमिट्स आपको दी जाती हैं। जैसे मैंने आज एक मोबाइल फोन चेंज किया, इट कैन बी एंड्रॉइड आईओएस, आईओएस एंड्रॉइड, और या हो सकता है एंड्रॉइड टू एंड्रॉइड में भी जाऊं मैं या आईओएस टू आईओएस भी जाऊं। उन केसेस में सर होता ये है कि अकाउंट सिक्योरिटी के लिए क्या होता था सर पहले, कि कुछ फ्रॉडस्टर्स क्या कर रहे थे कि आपसे आपका जो डिवाइस जब आप बाइंड करते हो तो आपका एक एसएमएस बाहर जाता है, राइट? आपके फ़ोन से एक सर्टेन नंबर पे जाता है, और उसके बेसिस पे वो क्या कर रहे थे कि आपका वो एसएमएस लेकर करके वो इनिशिएट करते थे अपने एंड पे, बट वो बोलते थे कि आप ये एसएमएस सेंड कर दो। उससे होता ये था सर कि आपका जो बैंक अकाउंट है वो लिंक हो जाता था फ्रॉडस्टर के अकाउंट पे, फ्रॉडस्टर के डिवाइस पे। और इस तरीके के जो फ्रॉड्स है सर, ये मैं आपको एक बता सकता हूँ सर, पिछले 6 महीने से 8 महीने के दौरान हमने बहुत सारे इस तरीके के फ्रॉड्स देखे, और जिसके बाद हमने कुछ लिमिट्स डाले हुए हैं इनिशियली। अगर आप देखें, अगर और आपके ऐप पे भी वो लिख के आता है, जहाँ पे इनिशियली आप 24 घंटे के लिए 5,000 तक के वैल्यू का ट्रांजैक्शन कर सकते हैं, राइट? तो चाहे आप डिवाइस चेंज करें, या आप आपका मोबाइल नंबर चेंज कर रहे हैं, या आपका जो एक सर होता है ऐप आईडी होती है, ये सारी कॉम्बिनेशन में अगर कोई भी चीज़ें चेंज हो रही हैं तो हम उस जगह पे हम ये समझते हैं कि इनिशियल 24 घंटे में, और इनफैक्ट सर अगर आप iOS में जाओगे तो वो और फर्दर एक्सटेंड होता है, क्योंकि वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम एरियाज थोड़े ज़्यादा थे, तो हमने उसको एक्सटेंड कर दिया 72 आवर्स के लिए। तो 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 24 घंटे, 48 घंटे, 72 घंटे, ऐसे आप यूज़ कर सकते हो। इससे हमने क्या किया सर, जो गलेबल कस्टमर है जिसको इसके बारे में बहुत अधिक जानकारी नहीं होती है, उसको हमने सेफगार्ड किया फ्रॉड से, करेक्ट? और इसमें सारे बैंक्स ने पार्टिसिपेट किया और उन्होंने भी इस चीज़ को समझा, और इसी के लिए ये सारे इकोसिस्टम के लिए एप्लीकेबल है। तो आप बैंक ए के साथ बैंकिंग करें, बैंक बी के साथ करें, सी के साथ करें, ये सबके लिए एप्लीकेबल है। जहाँ तक प्रश्न आता है सर आपके डिवाइस का एक्टिवेशन का, अगर आप नहीं कर पा रहे हैं सर, मैं अगेन आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि आप बैंक में बिल्कुल अप्रोच करें, और बैंक ऑब्लिगेटेड है आपका यूपीआई सर्विसेज शुरू करने के लिए, राइट? आप अगर किसी एक पर्टिकुलर ऐप पे इशू आ रहा है सर, तो आप किसी दूसरे ऐप को भी मैं काइंडली रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि आप उस पे भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं। अगर उस पे भी इशू आ रही है सर, आप श्योरली आप जा कर करके बैंक को हाइलाइट कर सकते हैं सर।
Sir, can I request something?
श्योर, श्योर।
Sir, as we are aware, after 2 to 3 days that webinar is going on, so we have attended only 2.5 lectures. Total 5 days webinar is there, right? Can you please provide 5 days PDF of webinar that
Madam,
we can circulate?
yes, sure, madam. YouTube recording is also available to you, and we'll surely provide you the.
Then should I
Yeah,
send you the email ID?
yeah. Do you
in
have any
chat?
question regarding this session, madam? Okay, I would like to request all the participants kindly ask your questions short and precise. We'll take one last question. Mr. Nilesh Joshi, your question, please. Unmute yourself.
नमस्कार अंकुर सर। एक खास बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि गांव में वीएलई जो होते हैं ना, जो मैं फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी के कैंप करवाता हूँ, तो वहाँ अवेयरनेस के लिए जो है वीएलई को ऐसा कुछ प्रमोशन किया जाए, जिससे दूसरी बैंक में भी वहाँ वीएलई होते हैं और बीसी होते हैं, तो वहाँ गांव के पब्लिक को मिसयूज फ्रॉड के हिसाब से हो जाता है। तो इसमें यूपीआई आईडी चेंज करने के लिए कोई ऐसा कुछ पीडीएफ या है तो वहाँ हम चिपका सकते हैं, ऐसा कोई?
जी सर, वैलिड क्वेश्चन है सर। ये अवेयरनेस सेशंस सर हमारे रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस में भी होते हैं सर, क्योंकि हम ये भी समझते हैं कि इंडिया इज़ अ वेरिड कंट्री। यहाँ पे बहुत सारी भाषाएं बोली जाती हैं और बहुत सारे डायलेक्ट्स हैं। इसलिए सर हमारे जो अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स भी हैं, अगर आप देखें, आप चाहिए तो आप प्लीज़ एक बार यूट्यूब पे भी सर्च कर लें। वहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे जो अवेयरनेस कैंपेन्स हैं हमने प्रोपेगेट किया हुआ है। इनफैक्ट अगर आप किसी भी बैंक के साथ भी अगर आप बात करें, तो बैंक भी आपको कुछ सर्टेन लिंक्स, कुछ सर्टेन अवेयरनेस वीडियोज़ जो रिकॉर्डेड हैं, वो आपके साथ शेयर कर सकता है। उसके अलावा सर अगर आप फिर भी और इंटरेस्टेड रहेंगे, तो आप उसको फॉर्मली भी ले सकते हैं सर, और आप सर्टेन इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं सर जो कि ट्रेनिंग कंडक्ट करते हैं, आप उनके साथ लाइज कर सकते हैं। तुषार जी ज़रूर अवेलेबल हैं यहाँ पे, उनको आप रिक्वेस्ट प्लेस कर सकते हैं। सो सर मल्टीपल फोरम्स हैं सर जिसमें ये हो सकता है, बट बाय एंड लार्ज सर जो चीज़ें जनरल पब्लिक के लिए अवेलेबल हैं, मैं ये रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा आपसे कि एक जैसे हम नुक्कड़ सभाएँ करते हैं, या हम किसी किसी सर्टेन जोग्राफीज़ में जाके कुछ प्रोग्राम्स करते हैं, तो वो आप ज़रूर उसको कंडक्ट कराएँ, और जो भी रिकॉर्डेड जो वीडियोज़ हैं, लेक्चर्स हैं, सेशंस हैं, वो आप ज़रूर प्ले करें सर।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, sir. So, as we conclude today's session, let us remember from a child's very first digital pocket money to the senior citizen hard earned pension, digital financial literacy is the ultimate shield for all generations. By mastering KYC and staying ahead of fraud, we ensure that our digital journey remains as safe as it is convenient. As we celebrate Digital Financial Service Day, let us carry this knowledge forward. Digital, digital finance is a superpower, but KYC is armor that keep that power safe. Thank you, NPCI, our esteemed speaker, Mr. Ankush Srivastav, and our visionary leadership at NCFE, PFRDA, IRDA, SEBI, and RBI. But most importantly, thank you all of you for being part of this movement towards a financially literate and digital secure India. Stay digital, stay secure. Goodbye and have a financially secure year ahead. See you all in the all initiatives by NCFE and next FLW. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to request all the participants, please join us in a reel making competition by NCFE and submit your creative reels to us. So we'll advertise you on our YouTube channel and our social media platforms. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you.